Boy, you know what going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing the knife to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Boy, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't bark down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you want?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody. I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Boy, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, how many boys coming for me next?
Alright, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent.
Want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So what are the boy?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Dwight Strawn with Morning Blend. On behalf of the crew and my co-hosts, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and an incredibly blessed and prosperous New Year.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is Tuesday, December 17th. It's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. Once again, this is C.A. Newry, and I shall be your host for today. Before we start today, because we actually finally got Uncle Sarah back in studio. Usually he's been hosting the show when I'm out, and I've been very appreciative of that.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much. I've had a number of great responses for you hosting, so that's good. We're about to start our series. I know Christmas soon starts, so we may have to skip until go back to the new year, but we brought him back in. But we're going to have a different type of show. But before we start, we're going to speak to Aaron, right?
That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid that you bring the Cahoon, Reverend Doctor.
Yeah. No, he's Dr. Reverend. Two different
That's even
types of-
worse to I mean, maybe to discipline me, maybe to speak to me about my womanly ways and just speaking out of turn and being,
I
you know.
I love that you have womanly ways.
Look
There
at
you go.
God, eh?
There you go.
Look at God.
Womanly
Thank you.
ways.
Somebody encouraging it just in case y'all didn't know.
That sounds like a play. Womanly Ways by Aaron Green.
Let me write that down.
Write that down.
Especially the by Aaron Green part.
Yeah. With the E at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pay extra for that E-buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you buy extra vowels?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me E.
Yeah. You don't play the game, you get buy a
Jeopardy.
vowel.
Yeah. But I want to remind people that next week we start our next week's a Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. But so we start this weekend.
This week Thursday.
This week Thursday,
Yeah.
which is Wednesday and Thursday, we start our Christmas giveaway.
Yeah.
And
Trivia giveaway.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if you want to participate with that, you can always call and say, hey, Newry, put this on your gift selection.
Right. Tune in. Was it starting Thursday?
Thursday.
Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yes.
For a chance to win prizes from our partners.
Yes.
People who are going to sponsor the show. We've reached out to people that we've heard y'all talking about and referencing, and we want to bring some of those prizes to our audience this year.
And we have a number of partners who give gift items or whatever it is to distribute. So if you have a promotional item that you want to be listed and then want us to promote your promotional item at the same time, call us up. You have my number. Call me up and call Aaron up, and we can include that. Especially if you do pop-up. If you do pop-ups.
Pop-up markets.
Markets and say, hey, put this on your list. Let people know I sell this.
Man, listen, I bugged this lady. She makes ornate bonsai trees.
Oh, that's nice.
It's
You
beautiful.
think she'll give me a free one so I can give us a gift? I mean, not gift, as part of the
giveaway.
trivia thing.
I hope so. But I wouldn't even ask her for that. You know what I would ask her for? She's make a Johnny cake mix for traveling. It's easy. You send a boy off to school to learn. You know he ain't got good sense yet. He just get there. All you gotta do is add water. Bang, Johnny cake.
You think Ian will give us some Johnny cake mix? We ain't seeing the bit.
Man, yes, and we could have challenge of the Johnny. You could get a Johnny cake package. And then when you go to university, you could start telling stories of the lore of the Bahamas. You could say, we are the kingdom of Johnny cakes. All different type of Johnny cake you could get in the Bahamas. Because other people know Johnny cake, you know.
I need to call those people who do pepper sauces too and put their business card in
the thing.
Let me do that because I know from the pepper show.
It's one pepper place and who every time I see them, it's a challenge. They always have a new product. That's why I always have new product, you know, because whenever I see them, they always have new product.
Good.
Every time it's a challenge.
Good. So let's start the show. We do an appeal. You can call either Aaron or I and can join in our gift giveaway during the Christmas. The 12 days of Christmas would be like a week, 7 days of Christmas.
I could be honest with you. I right from the break, I cannot afford 12 days of Christmas this year.
Okay. Today we're talking labor with Uncle Sarah. Expression on what the Coptic Church speaks on man's worth and work ethics. Also, do the Coptic Church celebrate Christmas? Because it's Christmas, and I want to know if you give me a Christmas present. Because I see a couple of these people say, "Because hold on, what about Gino Jennings say I can't get no Christmas gift."
Why?
Because we don't know when Christ born. I said, was he born? I want a Christmas gift.
I like that he chose that because I was going to say, I don't know what my mortgage could be this month. I can't give you a Christmas gift yet.
Gino Jennings have a problem with Christmas trees. I said, can I decorate any kind of tree?
Jeremiah 10 has a problem with Christmas.
I just want to decorate a tree.
Yeah, but decorate a palm tree. Because scripturally, that is the tree that is upright. If we go to Jeremiah chapter 10, it says that the tree that you go out into the woods and cut down and decorate and put the Christmas tree stand on, that is a vain custom by the heathen, but they say it is upright like the palm. The palm has significance in Revelation chapter 7, verse 9, where it talks about this multitude of people dressed in white waving palms, which is a symbol of the original crucified Savior, Asaru, who the Messiah, Yeshua Christ, who people call Jesus Christ, he was of that bloodline. So you see people walking around with fringes. The palm has the fringes, which represents the law, living of the law.
You're trying to say the evergreen tree is on a palm tree?
It's not a palm tree. It's an evergreen tree, but it's not a palm tree. They're cutting down the evergreen trees, which is actually a part of the ecosystem, because pine oil, turpentine, is used to kill bacteria, it's used to kill germs. This is cold and flu season. So if you're cutting down these trees that are supposed to be cleaning the air as it circulates around the planet, then you're promoting this idea of not cleansing the air, of not cleaning the air.
Did you know that, Aaron?
I mean, you asking me if I knew the trees had purpose?
No, but actually, if you know that, it's particular trees.
In the pine tree?
Yeah.
And the pine oil and thing? Yeah.
Jeremiah 10 is very clear. So for people who say that they are Christians, who are righteous people.
What about Coptic?
If for Coptic, you would have a palm tree. And so we have...
I have a tree, though.
Yeah, well...
Okay. Go on.
Palm tree.
Yeah.
Once I get a tree and I can put gifts underneath it and get a Christmas
we
present.
We celebrate 12 days of Christmas. 12 days.
Just like the song.
The first 9 is called Hanukkah. Which is the sacred feast of mental lights, which gave way to the birth of lamps, or this intelligence that allowed for us as a people to be able to bring forth the technology which would allow for us to have the communities which are being run by way of rel cell web, which we've talked about before, the religion, the economics, the labor. So we're talking about labor today, which is the third realm of human activity within rel cell web. But you must have rites and rituals in order to base your community off of, because your rites and the rituals or your religion, your true religious identity, is guiding you on what to buy or what products to make. See, if you're following the vain customs of the heathen as talked about in Jeremiah chapter 10, then you're going to buy a so-called Christmas tree, which is something that Jeremiah 10 is saying to us we should not be purchasing if we are a righteous people. If you're not a righteous person, if you don't feel like you need to follow the scriptures, then that's fine. You understand? Jeremiah 10, hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. So this was talking to these 3 groups of 12 royal tribes. Verse 2, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. We have learned the way of the heathen. All right? And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. It is idle. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hand of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails, with hammers, that it not move. That's the Christmas tree stand. That's the Christmas decorations. Then it says they are upright as the palm tree. They are upright as the palm tree. This is important because when we look up this word, language is key. So this word, upright, mixor, and then it talks about palm tree. They say the word is tomir, and it means a palm trunk. It's talking about a type of tree, all right, that is indigenous to a particular region. It is talking about a reality of we as ancient Africans, we as indigenous people of the planet, having these, we refer to them as Zed festival or Heb festivals, which were annual festivals that allowed for us to know that our bloodline was ruling itself. So when we are following our rites, our rituals, then our economics can come into play because now we know what it is we are working towards. Now you have a labor force. But if you're following the ways of the heathen, you're always working to provide a world for them. And that's the problem we're in right now.
I got stuck at palm tree because I told you about the raccoon in the palm tree last night, shaking the red berries.
Really?
The palm tree come with the decorations. It come with the red berries on it.
Or the dates.
Or the dates, the golden dates on it. It come pre-decorated, Newry.
Yeah.
I know a certain set of people who call a certain set of people heathens. Okay. And a certain set of people dark skinned, right? So I'm trying to say, when you said don't follow the way of the heathens, are you calling me the dark skinned set of heathens? Because them certain set of people call me heathens, saying, don't worry about them, said we got to Christianize them.
No, this word.
So I want to know who heathens you talking about.
I'm not talking about any heathen. The scriptures is talking about heathen.
I want to know who the scripture talking
the
about.
Goyim. This word, the Goyim, these Gentile heathens.
Am I a Gentile heathen?
No, the Gentiles, the heathen that's being referenced here is coming from Genesis chapter 10. And this Genesis chapter 10 is talking about these sons of Canaan. And if you go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 4, it says the son of Javan. We just had Javan here, right? We had the son of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish and Kittim and Dodanim. But this word Javan or Yavan, they say effervescing, Javan, the name of a son of Joktan, and the race of Ionians, that is the Greeks. This is making reference to these Hellenistic Jews, these Hellenistic Greeks. I didn't say this. This is what the scriptures are saying.
I listening?
You understand? It's talking about Hellenism. It's talking about Greco-Romanism. And that is what we have been following as a nation. We've been following as a people, which is why we don't own our economy today. We don't own our own religion today. You understand? When we put our hand on a Bible, it is a version of a scripture that is coming from the perspective of the colonists, of the British, of the king. The king is the head of the Church of England, and he and all of the kings and queens before him, they have sanctioned their version, their interpretation of the scripture, which we don't have an issue with. The problem is not the Bible. The problem is not even the Quran. The problem is the mistranslation, the misinterpretation for us as a people. And so what's happening is the heathen, the Gentile nations, because we're not the Gentiles. We are the 3 groups of 12 royal tribes. No, you, my brother, are of the 3 groups of 12 royal tribes insofar as your bloodline. When they talk about Ham, you said black people. Ham, who was the son of Noah, right? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham gives birth to one called Mitzrayim, which they say is Egypt. Ham gives way to one called Cush, which they say is Ethiopia, right? Ham gives way to birth one called Phut, which they say is Libya. And Ham also gives way to one called Canaan, which originally his name was Lebana, which means milky white, because he was an albino. You understand? And so they know this reality because even today they have a website called NOAH, NOAH, the National Organization of Albinism and Hypopigmentation. People who cannot produce large amounts of melanin are suffering from a disease called albinism, or somehow vitiligo, which is the onset of the albinism. But it's talking about a curse that was mentioned in the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and 14, where it talks about clean lepers and unclean lepers, and it talks about this curse. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, of this yellow thin hair being a sign of the curse. But these are the things that we've bought into. Now people will go to a quote-unquote beauty supply store and buy yellow thin hair and walk around looking like those who are said to be cursed in Leviticus 13 and 14, whereby we now are unable to actually control our own economy. We're talking about labor today. We're not able to talk about we're not able to control the realities of our resources, because you're worshiping or revering a people who have a doctrine of manifest destiny, which says, I can use your resources better than you. You don't know how to use them, so I'm going to take them from you, and you're going to buy from me, and then you're going to have a false economy, and that's what we have.
I was also thinking, like, we have a bunch of people here who don't understand, like, what an economy is and what their role is in it is even. And it's almost as if the information is being withheld from them. The teaching is being withheld from them. So I realize that, especially through the observations of traffic, that people don't understand the pace that they need to move at, to work at, to live at, to innovate at, to create at, to maintain or propel forward the broader economy or their own personal economy. So I don't know what my role is. I don't know what I am supposed to do to make sure I could make money. And I don't know what I need to do to ensure that the broader economy is healthy and successful.
But it starts with ignorance. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We are destroyed. We are literally in chaos because we don't, first of all, have knowledge of self. So you won't understand your purpose without knowing, first of all, who you are. Know thyself, manage thyself. Then you got to learn to have a conversation with yourself, and then you can go out into the world and interrelate with people. So if we're not even at the point of knowing ourselves, we certainly cannot manage ourselves.
I like a perfect example, as you see more and more Family Island plates in New Providence, right? Like, it's obvious that the person who's driving that car does not see themselves as a Family Islander. They don't, and that they drive in like they're in the Family Islands, right? But and they can't reconcile with or acknowledge that, but I'm now in New Providence.
Right.
Where everything is faster.
Right.
Because I've never actually acknowledged what it means to be a Family Island person. What is the pace of life, right? A sense of self, a sense of space, a sense of belonging, a sense of identity. So I come into New Providence now, just completely sort of it's not vapid, but it's blind, right? Not realizing that I'm a Family Islander trying to make people in New Providence move at the pace of the Family Islands.
Well, it's about adaptation, right? You have to adapt to the space that you are now trying to survive and thrive in, right? And so that happens because the Family Islanders, they're moving closer to the resources. If everything is Nassau-centric, and the price of living in the Family Islands is so much higher than it is in Nassau, the jobs are more centrally located in Nassau or Abaco or Luther. That's where people are going to move, and that's where they're going to try to live to take care of their families. But again, the same way, that's a microcosm of the global reality that we're in. The word economy is not, first of all, based on money. It's about managing resources. You understand? That's why you have a class called home economics, where you don't talk about money. You talk about how you're going to deal in the kitchen and how you're going to deal in the home. You got to make sure you can manage the home. So if you can't manage the resources of your country, because first of all, you're denying that they even exist. That's the first fallacy, right? And then the resources that you do acknowledge, the sun, you have a radio station that says only the sun covers the Bahamas better than them. But we're not tapping into that sun. So we're now paying for fuel and fuel charges, which unfortunately, has become a criminal enterprise in this country, because people are literally suffering and struggling just to keep their lights on.
In fact,
in one of the most sun-baked places on the planet, we're not managing our resources, and so we struggle economically, and then the labor pool suffers.
Let's just add to that. I know we can transition, Newry. Think about this. We live in an archipelago, the largest in the region, surrounded by water. It's 2024. I'm 48 years old. And the vast majority of us don't own boats, can't build a boat, can't build a raft. What would our economy look like if we were boat people instead of car people? Who convinced us or who allowed us to sit in the belief that we are car people as opposed to boat people and ocean people?
We're following the ways of the heathen. Remember now, our national sport used to be cricket. Why? We don't play cricket. The people who came here and oppressed us played cricket. So we are making a step towards being on the waters by making our national sport now regatta. You understand?
Sloop sailing.
Sloop sailing, right? Okay, we're sloop sailing. Thank you. Right? And so I applaud, the people who are seeing the vision of us starting to move in that direction where now we're seeing the importance of being on the water, celebrating being on the water. But you can't get on the water unless you could swim. So you best learn how to swim. We need some swim clubs, swimming instructions to be a part of our discussion on being on the water, because you can't get to the resources, the fish, the conch, the whatever.
You cannot manage the major resources from a car.
Yeah. No.
I think Aaron Green is call it decolonization.
Yeah.
She's been lobbying for the government
Ministry of Decolonization.
Ministry of Decolonization.
If we're serious.
Purposefully.
If we're serious. You see what I'm saying? I mean, the symbolic gesture of throwing the mace out of the house, okay, that's where we're at. We can do that, right? But what about the symbolic suggestion of just keeping it out of the house, period? Why we even need it in there? You'll say it's symbolic. It ain't symbolic to us. We're not taking all those sitting MPs don't take an oath to the Bahamian people. They take an oath to the king, his heirs, successors, and forevermore.
And that mace.
And the mace. So and that's the speaker's mace. This is brother Lincoln Bain was on a show last night talking about educating us about the mace. But the reality of the situation is that we still are so destroyed because of this lack of knowledge of self that we don't think that we have the wherewithal to actually run our own affairs and not just depend on other than self and kind.
Earlier on Aaron's show on the clock, we were talking about the transition or the lobby of our government. And I wanted to put in a biblical response to from the Coptic Church as a cajon there. The government is lobbying or making a transition to move from a monthly payment payroll system to a bi-weekly payroll system. I was asking Aaron Green earlier why. Simple question of why. She gave me a reasonable response based on a newspaper article. Right? And I gotta have her do that response again, so you can actually have a response. This is my concern. Employers and employees have a business contract. Employees work their labor, right? And the employers pay them on time.
Upon the
Completion.
the contractually agreed payment date.
Yes. And we can do that again, contractually agreed, right? If I go to a job and apply and you put it for me, I would be paying you weekly. Or I'll be paying you bi-weekly or monthly or whatever it is, quarterly or whatever it is. And I must agree to it. Or I might do a counter offer and say, no, I need my money every week in order to do my bills, right? And then there's an agreement between the two, right? And we move forward in that agreement. And when that agreement is being changed, it have to be surely mutually agreed upon. Or is that not important in terms of employer-employee relationship?
It's extremely important. First of all, as soon as you begin chipping away at one of the terms of a contract, you weaken the whole contract. First of all, it's extremely important. If you're supposed to pay me on the first, pay me on the first. That's what you've agreed to. And then I begin doubting you. See, because you carrying on like my Grammy. My Grammy could tell me, I can have your money for you on Monday. And then she could ignore me for a month and call me and say, child, if you only know what was happening in my house, but you don't come and see me, so you don't know, so don't get mad I was late with your money. She could tell me that. Right? I see y'all want to talk with the second.
No, go ahead.
The second thing is that you, the broader society, have created services, systems, and protocols, right? And so now you're telling me that you want to direct deposit my check, And the people who I owe money to, they say, look, I want to take the money out of your account as soon as it get there. I don't want to trouble you. You don't have to come and see me. Let's do this little direct payment thing, right? So if I am set up to be paid on the 1st, and my bills are set up to be extracted from my account, say an hour after it hits the account, when you pay me late, then I go into overdraft, right? I then am now late on all of these other financial obligations because I do the work. You supposed to pay me on this date. They did the work. I supposed to pay them on this date. My agreement with them is based on my agreement with you. I know the money's coming in on the 1st, so I could pay you on the 2nd.
So yeah, so essentially, I don't think it's what is being done, but how it's being done, because like you're saying, there are already, I guess, systems that have been set up in relation to a monthly pay. So if you're going to change the monthly pay, you have to change these other systems surrounding the monthly pay, right? Scripturally speaking, however, right, when we look at this idea of being paid, Matthew 6:11 says, "Give us this day our daily bread." Right? Give us this day. This word they use for a day, they say it's the word semiron. And of a presumed compound, it talks about this day or night. Now, pay me now. Pay me what you owe me. Right? What is that really saying? It is saying that when we as a people have a properly managed economy and resources, that our payment, just like if you were in a hunter-gatherer society, when you go out to work, which is you hunting, and you catch whatever you catch, that's your pay that day. When you are domesticating plants, when you're domesticating food, and you understand if I put this seed in the ground, it's going to give me a tree in this amount of time, and it's going to give me fruit in this amount of time. That's a system that's been worked out by nature, right? So scripturally, we went with nature's laws, with nature's understanding of how we would receive what it was that we put forward, right? Here's something, though, that I want to throw into the mix, right? That I don't think we're even talking about in the Bahamas like that, right? There's a country in Africa. They call it one of the poorest countries in Africa, Burkina Faso, that just paid off $4.79 billion national debt without Western financial aid, without the IMF, without the World Bank, without taking
no debt for nature swap.
None of that. They paid off their national debt. That ultimately is a situation where this country is saying, we want to handle our affairs. We want to take care of our resources. We don't want to actually depend on the West. You understand? Because all of this is a part of the mindset of a people who, because let me tell you what being paid on a monthly basis really is. You loaning them money, you know. You loaning them money for a month, interest free.
While they could collect interest on it.
You understand? You ain't getting no interest. When they pay you, they only paying you what they say they can pay you, but they owed you for a month.
Time you worked.
For the time you worked. But we're not even taught to look at it in that way. We're taught, oh, you're going to get paid bi-weekly, you're going to get paid monthly. Not understanding. Scripture say, give me my daily bread.
Let me go back to Aaron.
Why? Because my Grammy say pay tithes. I mean, my Grammy used to do that. She'd be like, you're paying tithes. Don't watch nothing. You don't go to church. You pay it there.
There are a number of sycophants out there saying the union, the workers are wrong to be concerned, mad, to push back at government about changing their payment plan, right? We mentioned contract. We mentioned duty of care, right? Is it all right, flippant, to say to shame employees who said, man, no, you just can't change the way you want to pay me without there being some sort of consultation?
Yeah,
the union, the teachers union said, but you're all supposed to consult us. so we can give you the best option, so we go back and forth, so we can have a conclusion. This is what contracts is. The government said, hell with the contracts.
Because we're going to keep modeling these plantations until you make us stop. We're going to keep pushing the envelope until you make us stop. Of course, what you mean you could change the terms of my employment without me agreeing to it.
Yeah.
That's plantation talk.
Yeah.
That's enslavement talk. That's what your parents do to you because they think they have the right to do it.
But why wouldn't somebody want to get paid bi-weekly? Surely there's benefit to them. You get your money sooner.
Which is why my initial statement on this matter is it is not the issue of bi-weekly payment, but how it is being done.
And will the system be adapted entirely and holistically to ensure that everybody is captured? Don't tell me, it's mandatory. When you wake up in the morning, you'll be paid bi-weekly. And you don't go to the banks and say, look, we've had a major national policy shift. We need y'all to sit down and determine and show us how you will then engage each type of employee. Some being paid bi-weekly, some weekly, some monthly. Right? I mean, I had a moment when I went to go check on my money and all my money was in there and I had to, go into the bank and, they told you have to write a letter and you have to make an appointment
playing with my
to
money.
go to talk to your money.
Imagine, see, you getting paid bi-weekly, right? Let's say that second week, you now looking for half your pay, but all gone because everybody who want their money at the end of the month. And you already direct depositing. So now you basically living now on half of what, you living on it anyway because at the end of the month, you still got it. We was just laughing about it in the hallway. You said, time is the money coming at the end of the month, that gone anyway. You paying off people. So that's a lot. That's a lot.
You have enough money to pay on.
Right. You understand? So again, so this is really a sub issue in my books because getting paid bi-weekly or monthly, that's obviously something that should be discussed with the people you paying. If you have a actual contract with them, I think it's only fair. I think it's only respectful to do so.
And a number of jobs, Aaron and Uncle, you can go to your human resources and explain your financial situation.
You can do that?
Yeah, man. You can say, human resources, I need help.
Yeah.
I need help paying my bills because of my lifestyle.
Right.
And they interject.
help you.
They interject and send you to whatever fiduciary person there and say, okay, we will take out this and send your money over here. We would move this money here and send your money over there
Help
for,
you.
for you to survive.
Yeah.
For you to survive. The employers
But then you
have that as a duty
You
of care.
initiated that though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that.
They didn't come at you and
Government-
say, I notice you running out of gas all the time. I can make sure I take your gas money out and put it over here.
Yeah, but see, I want to know if our government has such a system. It's being the largest employer, right?
That's a good question.
Do they have a duty of care to the employees who are dedicated to making the Bahamas work?
See-
to say, we will help you.
Yeah.
I understand you have some issues, but we will help you
See,
by making these things.
Grammy understood, right? Grammy understood that there's one uncle who he could work hard, and he could make plenty money, but his head ain't that good. And if he catch a drink at the wrong time, all the money could be gone, right? So Grammy will say, look here, go with him to work, put the money in my account. This is account, now. Put the money in the
Well, okay, I give you a real world example.
Yeah.
Right? Samuel L. Jackson. He said this publicly. He don't get his money. His wife is get his money. She gives him an allowance. He plays golf and he lives the life that he wants to live, but his wife manages his money. That's the arrangement they have.
And remember, he
But-
was a former, he has recovered
Yes.
from substance abuse
Yes,
and addiction.
And he understood that. And she worked with him. She worked to get him out of that.
And this is why some people prefer to get paid monthly because the issues they have. They don't have access to money to the end of the month. And by the end of the month, all the bills take out. So whatever leave, they can play with that. But if you get it weekly. But anyway, let's go to the calls. We have all kind of people calling. But see, I still do not understand the reasoning for why government is changing.
So they
I'm not-
haven't put out a reason?
Not only thing that they have a new accounting system.
Oh, okay.
And so that cannot be the reason.
The reason is that it's more efficient, it's more effective.
No, for who? Let's talk.
For the
about that.
workers is what they say.
But let's talk about that.
Right.
After these calls, we can talk about it. See,
Spit on me and call it rain.
in the hotel industry, right? They moved from weekly to bi-weekly for a reason. They were saying they had all kind of different expenses. Like every time they send the money to the bank weekly, all the different fees have to come out, and they're paying 4 different fees by the end of the month.
Right.
The government pays 1 fee now because it's only at the end of the month. The idea is going to bi-weekly. Now they're paying 2 fees because they still got to pay to transfer the money to the various accounts. I'm saying, why is government occurring or accepting this new cost? Surely, they need to do an explanation on that.
We need, Carly, coming right now. We need a position paper from the financial ombudsman, Miss Hyla. Miss Hyla, Ambrosia, I think her name is Ambrosia
And show the
Hyla.
benefits of it. Let's go to the caller though. But see, that didn't happen. And then when you ask the question, you get that flippant response saying, how dare you ask such things?
And what you're doing is how you do it.
You ever had a job? Or you could ask me them questions?
Yeah, you should be glad I given you money.
Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
It seems like we're talking about communal wealth on the overall scheme of things. And whatever happened to the penny savings bank? I heard that was one of the biggest community banks, more successful. Nothing. But when we talk about wealth, I heard about country to paying off their debt. I heard about discrepancy with the payers and tithes. I think it's only about $10,000 to charter a bank. Go to the central bank, you charter a bank, you get insurance, you get the shareholders.
How much is the insurance? I just have to insure the 10,000 or what?
Yeah, well, I think it's $50,000 per account, but then you'll have a group life insurance or a group insurance when you issue accounts to the account holders and loans and so on and so forth. But the basis of it is most Bahamians own their property and they own their mortgage, and it's paid off. That's equity.
You forget
That's
about property. You forget about real property tax now, eh?
But that's over $300,000 per property. Most of the properties in the city are about $250,000, $275,000, and most of these properties, like I said, are mortgage free. So why don't we, as a community, pool our resources, have a group of honorable shareholders like yourself, Anku, CA, and a few other people?
Good. I'm glad you ain't called my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't call my name.
And give an incentive for these over-the-hill communities to put their property as equity to pool and to get banks started for communities so we can give out small loans so we can cure these ailments of poverty, give out small grants and stuff like that. I mean, it's not difficult. We just need to put our heads together and stop looking.
So what do you think about the credit
money.
unions? Because I know people who have started. I know, I remember when God rested there, John Lee Ferguson was alive. He came and he spoke to our church about how the teachers' credit union was formed, and basically they had that same conversation.
I'm glad you asked that. Well, the credit union pretty much, I wouldn't say, they focus on a certain industry, and that's why I didn't mention that.
Okay.
So you have to be a teacher to be a part of credit union. You have to be
but
a
you have
different
types.
Hotel and government.
There's all kinds, and you could start. You could start one
Police
for
credit union,
your particular
nurses credit union.
constituency.
Yeah, I understand, but my focus is the inner city community where most of the people are unemployed or underemployed. They still have equity. These things can be monetized. So we could start off
need
with
someone to spearhead that with sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I
all
don't
we
have no
need.
sense. So he ain't gonna be me. He ain't gonna be me.
Find a person, an honorable, loyal person, then we good.
That's the bank.
That's the problem.
That's the bank. So
I
they
honorable
all
and
work
I
for the banks
loyal,
already.
but I talk nonsense.
So that's why.
But it can't be the bank because, and we just had a case in
I
the
just
paper.
find them and you say you can't be them?
I'm
You say look
saying
for them.
the banks are robbing us. We just had somebody who lost a case of Finco, and it's probably dozens or hundreds of people who lose their savings, their life work to banks because they go to court. We don't need that. We don't need that legal side of. But we need people who say, "All right, we understand what you're going through, and we can work it out." Instead of just going and killing an ant with a sledgehammer. So we need to take the banks out of it. And we could do that ourselves. But thanks for taking my call. That's something to think about.
Absolutely.
But this is why I spend so much time, talking about the religious reality of this country.
You just want my tithe money.
No, because the reality of the situation is if you have a proper, true religious identity, you understand that, first of all, tithing is the works of your 10 fingers. Tithing is food. Tithing ain't just about money. You understand? But the reality of the situation is because we are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We don't have a proper system in place. We don't trust each other. We are totally programmed to trust the systems that are designed to ultimately fleece us. It's the systems that are fleecing us. You're talking about 10%. I wish it was only 10% that the system was taking from me. Every time I put money on my account, I got to get hit. Money coming off my account, I got to get hit. It's way more than 10%.
The money come yet, you got to pay a fee.
Right. So when we this has to be a holistic conversation. When we talk about labor, you cannot leave out economics. You cannot leave out religion. You cannot leave out the family. You cannot leave out education, the law of the country, the security of the country, the education the edutainment of the country, or the politics of the country, the rel cell web. You can't.
Let's go to the caller. But Aaron, should the government give the public an explanation on how much money would be saved, how much money should be lost if they change from the monthly to a
for the government? They should tell us that this policy has been prepared based on research, right, and documented evidence. Provide numbers. This is how much money we expect to save by adopting this new policy. And if they're decent and they love God and they love people, they will create a space to educate their employees, the public service, on how to adjust, adapt, maybe adopt new things, and how this can help them save money.
You say that's a caring employer. We have
a decent and who love God.
Let's go to the callers, because they say the union got to do that. They say not them. They ain't responsible for
MOU may be mistaken.
Yeah, MOU.
LOI do believe sometimes MOU may be mistaken.
Let's go to the caller there. Go ahead, caller. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to the crew, Anku and CA. Listen.
Good morning, brother.
Firstly, they don't want you to have a family, Anku, because you see what they're promoting. And so, as it relates to what the gentleman was saying, the last caller, it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll juxtapose that with generational property on the Rhode Islands. They're just sitting there waiting to be conquered by some investor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Land molester. Now, I wanted to touch on, because I thought Aaron had answered him correctly, because the Bahamas Island Cooperative Credit Union, I joined them a couple of weeks ago, and so there was great scrutiny. But after reading the benefits, it really was really tremendous. It voices the money sitting in the bank. So the last caller, I thought he should know that, but he doesn't realize the power and the influence of the bankster gangsters or the gangster banksters. I don't think he really understands what's going on in the world. Most of us don't. And so somebody should have a duty of care to educate the public. I was talking to my little brother the other day, and he had some mutual fund. He was telling me about it, and he told me about the interest that he's gathering from it. It was unbelievable. And so these are the type of things we need to know. But it's really amazing that like Uncle said, it's ignorance, even on my part. You don't know everything, and they're not teaching you these things in schools, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted to relate this to Uncle. That's something that he spoke on earlier on the religious part of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't going to take too long, but I said the word Jokshan. Is that the son of Abraham, Uncle?
You mean
Jokshan? You think you said Jokshan? Did you say the word?
Joktan? That was in Genesis chapter 10, verse 6.
Right, but I sorry, I'm mistaken. I thought it was the son of Abraham, because I was just wondering, since the Bible is so reliable, why they only talk about Ishmael and Isaac, and then basically from Isaac you get Jacob and Esau. They don't mention the 6 other sons of Abraham. So I just hung up and listened. I mean, I just thought it was, I don't know.
But that's again a part of the ignorance. To understand your bloodline and to understand the habits of your bloodline is a part of knowing who you are, knowing your purpose, and again, knowing how to actually deal with finances, how to deal with labor, how to deal with the resources of your country. If we aren't serious about knowing who we are as a people, you studying history, but you ain't studying your history, you're not studying your story, then you're going to keep mimicking people who ultimately have systems in place for them, and that's why they keep winning.
Mm-hmm. We can take a quick commercial break here. Aaron, in your research, the different articles that you put forward about this, did they mention the benefits to the government regarding why they're changing the system? A detailed explanation?
There's no detailed explanation.
They just decided.
I can read through and see if I could pull any quotes.
But next thing I want to ask, this seems similar to the debt to nature swap, when I thought this was something that the Bahamas created, right? And said, we're going to see how we can benefit. But it's a cookie cutter thing that the world has bring to us, and that they want us to adopt, right? It doesn't seem to be tailored for us and our benefit. So I'm wondering to know if this new Oracle system this is perhaps not tailored for us, but it's a general broad new system that no one took in consideration that how would it impact.
We still can't afford anything but beige computers. You want a whole computer system designed just for the Bahamas?
Just for the Bahamas.
I mean, I thought I had lofty ideals. When we get back from the break, I found some excerpts from this article.
Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Newry. Of course, we have Uncle Sarah Cahoon of the Coptic Church of the Black Messiah. Yes. Right? And also we have Aaron Green joining me. And we're talking about labor. We talk about this new policy the government is adopting, whether they have a duty of care to educate the masses, their employees, or as employers, they say, man, take it. We'll be right back.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Hello? Linda, this is me. Listen, I think that this Christmas, you should really get in the spirit of things. I mean, apart from the great prices, I think your customers would like to see more of you. So I think that you should greet your customers, some in the morning, some in the afternoon. I don't expect you to be there all day. Now listen. Now, you know red is the color of Christmas. So I think that you should be in a red tuxedo. You would be saying something. Your customers would really feel like Santa Claus reach.
You can wear that red suit this Christmas. Sale ends December 21st.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News Sales Representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
1 in every 4 Bahamians face some level of food insecurity. AML Foods remains committed to helping, and this year, through our Feed 5,000 program, will donate $30,000 to provide holiday meals to families in need. But we need your help. From November 4th to December 18th, show your support and donate at the register at Solomon's, Costrite, Fresh Market, Exuma Markets, or Domino's Pizza in Nassau, Grand Bahama, or Exuma. Together, let's put an end to hunger.
This is Aaron Green, wishing you and your family happiness, peace, and mangoes this holiday season and throughout the new year from Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio AM. This is C.A. Newry. Of course, I have Cahoon Uncle Sarah, Cleveland Aeneas III. My father said he know your people, let me know. Said he went to school with a Cleveland Aeneas at Easton Senior or Easton Junior.
What did that hear?
88.
Oh, that's my granddaddy.
That's your granddaddy. Yeah. Be in a sad, but he's man to you.
Yeah.
If that's your grand. Anyway, that's my dad.
Yeah, you have more gray hairs.
Yeah.
I can't believe you all just slide past the best Bahamian Christmas song of all time.
Really?
That's Bahamian?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I pay tax to... That's a Bahamian song, right?
Yeah.
I pay tax to hear that.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, how you be? No, man.
It's a beautiful song.
Hello there.
We have Uncle Sarah, Cleveland Aeneas. We have Aaron Green. We're talking about the government's new policy. Aaron, my bank. Can I call my bank name? Well, that's problematic.
Once a day, the one who said, look here, these services in the Family Island, these are philanthropic. You know, we don't have to provide banking services in the Family Islands.
They told me I have a current account. Before I had a savings account, they changed my savings account to a current
Without
account.
asking you?
But I had to come inside the bank. They freeze the bank account. I couldn't withdraw, and I had to come inside.
You know, we have a financial ombudsman. I think her name is Ambrosia Hyla. I think that is the person that you take something like that to, because you have a contractual agreement with the bank, and then the bank decides it's going to change the terms of the contract.
I signed it, and now I have a current account. This current
So
account
you're
means
saying me that you were left with the impression that perhaps you couldn't access your money unless you just submitted to their uncontractually agreed upon terms?
I have a current account, Aaron, and
That's all right. You have children and a wife. I just play with people.
They said I can't come into the bank. If I come in the bank, it's additional fee. All of my transactions done through the ATM machine or online, transferring money back and forth.
With your boy who couldn't get the door open with his card and then tried to berate me to open the door for him, so I supposed to let him in and he could hear
Can
and
you
see
imagine?
everything I doing,
Yes,
even though his
he
card
was
didn't
watching.
work.
My thing is, I get one of those people who get paid bi-weekly, right? I have fees that comes with my bi-weekly payment, withdrawing money to transfer money, whatever it is, right? With the government, they get fees for when they withdraw money at the end of the month. But when they get paid bi-weekly, now they have two sets of fees.
The fees, I think, is a big discussion we have.
And you know that the Progressive Liberal Party, the government, has mentioned fees.
Two separate things.
Yeah, the predatorial, especially the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, the predatorial.
You mean the MP for Fox Hill? I don't think he was speaking as the chairman of the PLP. He was speaking as the MP for Fox Hill, and I want to make that
I just get
distinction.
confused because you could be in foreign affairs.
No, he was definitely not the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
It all depends on on that day. But the point is, he spoke on it, saying this predatorial aspects of the banks, right? And now I'm thinking, with the government changing its policy on how they payment, surely their employees now are now subject to additional fees.
Yep.
And I said, who is taking any consideration of that? That I already only making $250.
We gotta address the fees,
right?
Well, you know what we
But
need
they
to
ain't
do?
addressing the fees.
We
That's
need-
my point,
listen,
though.
Newry,
We
will
gotta
you-
address the fees.
Will you invite the financial ombudsman on the show so that
That'll be
we
great.
can put the questions to that office?
What ministry she fall under? That's Halkidas?
I tell you what I do. I
Because
call, I call
inbox.
I call the cabinet secretary office, and I just ask them there. You ever tried calling the government ministry recently?
You need to have their WhatsApp numbers, man. You don't call the office.
You got to call them on TikTok because the phone systems don't be working like
It's
that.
be on TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Newry, we are all out of time.
Already?
Absolutely.
I don't have 2 minutes.
Time flies.
Time flies. I enjoy this conversation.
Just like our money.
I just seem as if they're demonizing the union. They're demonizing the employees, and without any full explanation on how will this impact people's pocket. And the government, the employer, has a duty of care to give an explanation, right? To say, we're doing this because this is how it's going to impact the entire Bahamas. This is how it's going to impact my employees. And I'm going to have a duty of care to explain the benefits to you all because I am a caring, conscious employer.
Decent, God-fearing
Decent,
peoples.
God-fearing. Thank you very much.